that 4 years ago, Bill Clinton nominated Michael Dukakis and was almost booed from the podium when he went on for 33 minutes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Was forced then, Bill Clinton, to go on Johnny Carson, play a saxophone, and say that he had misread the audience.
Thank you
Cuomo
very
almost
much,
never
ladies
does.
and gentlemen. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I don't want to go over time. They warned me I might wind up playing the accordion on the Arsenio Hall show. So let's... Tonight I will have the great privilege and honor of placing before you the name of the next President of the United States of America, Governor Bill Clinton of Arkansas. It seems to me that this is not a matter of our wanting Bill Clinton. It is much, much more than that. We need Bill Clinton because he is our only hope for change from this nation's current disastrous course. Eight years ago, in San Francisco, some of us tried to convince America that while President Reagan was telling us we were all one shining city on a hill, there was another city where people were struggling, many of them living in pain. And we tried to tell America that unless we changed policies, unless we expanded opportunity, the deterioration of the other city would spread. Well, we Democrats failed to reach enough Americans with that message, and now the nation has paid an awful price. We cannot afford to fail again. The price is too high. For the first time in their lives, millions of Americans who took for granted the basic right to make a living with one's own hands and mind and heart have been denied the dignity of earning their own bread. Today, a 50-year-old father lives nearly in terror at the prospect that if he is laid off now, as so many people around him have been, in addition to losing everything else, he'll lose his health insurance too. What if I'm struck by cancer? My God, what about the mortgage? What about my son in college and my daughter who's graduating high school? How will they get an education? And when will they find a job, even if they get an education? How could it have happened in a country where the executives of companies that fail, the presidents and chairmen of companies that make profits by trading solid American jobs for cheap labor overseas can make $5 million, $10 million, $15 million a year? How did it happen? How can our middle-class workers be in such terrible jeopardy? 1 million children a year leaving school for the mean streets. 1 million a year surrounded by prostitutes and drug dealers, by violence and degradation of all kinds. Some of them growing up familiar with the sound of gunfire before they've ever heard an orchestra. Becoming young adults only to be instructed by the powerful evidence of their surroundings that there is little hope for them. Even in America, nearly a whole generation surrendering in despair to drugs, to having children while they're still children, to hopelessness. How did it happen here in the most powerful nation in the world? It's a terrible tragedy, not only for our children, but for all of America. They are not my children, perhaps. Perhaps they are not your children either. But Jesse is right. They are our children, and we should love them. We should love them. That's compassion. But there's common sense at work here as well, because even if we were hard enough to choose not to love them, we would still need them to be sound and productive, because they are the nation's future. It would be bad enough